There was something not quite right with the humans. Or more specifically, their claims of being descended from predators. During their introduction to the Galactic Council, they made many fabulous and impressive claims. There was absolutely no doubt that they were suitable for membership. However, some of these claims were just a little too good to be true, and just a touch too fantastical to be real. None of the other member species blamed them, of course. Who wouldn't talk up their species' achievements with the entire known galaxy watching? It wouldn't be the first time a new species tried to pull a fast one over the council either. So while the politicians nodded and applauded where appropriate, behind the scenes many different intelligence agencies worked hard to find proof of these claims, or at least evidence for or against them. None more so the claim that humans were endurance predators. They simply lacked the biological tools common amongst the predatory sapiens for that fact to be accepted at face value. The internal digestion biology had been confirmed. They were in the rare category of true omnivores, but that alone didn't make them predators. It wasn't unknown for species to be scavengers, or even specialize in stealing kills from other predators native to their homeworlds. No claws, no fangs, no natural camouflage. Oh, and they were pacifist herd creatures. That's not typical predatory behavior either. So when Agent Zeeb spotted what he thought was a human actively hunting without knowing it was being observed, it was a big deal to the intelligence groups. Humans had allowed council observers on their hunting trips, but these had reeked of flashy showmanship and false bravado. Nor had these trips been successful enough to provide for more than a few humans at a time, let alone a decent-sized population. Unobserved, the council could get a real insight to human predatory behaviors and methods, if they even truly existed. This particular human was on the outskirts of one of the humans' colonies, just one of many settlements being quietly watched while the negotiations to join the council went on. It stood knee-deep in a body of water, dressed strangely, and with a box of tools of some sort nearby. In both its hands it held what at first glance was an overlarge version of combustion weapons that the humans so loved. As it made a thrashing gesture with the firearm, Zeeb noticed that it was not suitable for a projectile, as it bent 1/3 along its length. As the human began some action at its base, reloading perhaps, when out of nowhere a small fish leapt from the river to hang mid-air. The human hadn't declared that they had this kind of kinetic technology. This would force a revise of their military might, not to mention question why they were concealing such a high technology, or using it for something as trivial as hunting of all things. As Zeeb edged closer, it became clear that the firearm was in fact a simple stick of sorts, and that there was no kinetic technology, as the fish was suspended from a near invisible line of thread. He knew that at the other end of the live feed he was relaying, the office teams would be releasing a huge exhalation of breath in relief at this false positive. Even with these revelations, there was still much to be learned from human hunting methods. The human had taken the fish off the line and was tending to his tools when he did the most unexpected thing of all. He dropped it. Free from capture, the fish fled quickly and successfully. Zeeb looked on in surprise as the clumsy human stared into the depths, into where his meal had disappeared with a disappointed, thoughtful look. This human clearly wasn't a great hunter of his people. He persevered anyway, throwing the small, simulated insect observed to be on the end of the thread into the water, over and over again, in the hunt for more fish. He failed mostly, but occasionally tricked a fish into capture. And every time after stopping to measure how many meals that particular fish would probably make, its thrashing freed itself from the human's clumsy grip, falling into the knee-deep water below. It took all of Zeeb's willpower not to laugh out loud. At one point the frustrated human even made a move that looked like it would take a bite out of a particularly large-bodied specimen, but it too escaped unharmed before the deed was done. It just got funnier and funnier. No matter the fish, big or small, silver or brown, they all escaped to safety. As the daylight began to dwindle, the human climbed out of the water, sorted his tools, and left. Zeeb took a few extra moments to compose himself before heading back to the observation post. Even though it had all been recorded for the analyst to pore over, his report was still needed, and it would say exactly two things. Firstly, yes, humans were confirmed predators. Most importantly, They were the most terrible predators the galaxy had ever known.